Welcome to week 14 of the 52-week art journal journey. I am so glad you're here. This week, we're going to do things a little bit differently. If you're new, check the description for a link to the week 1 prompt and get started by making your journal and this journey your own. This week's small art prompt? Well, there isn't one. At least not for a specific piece or even type of art. What do you want to make in your art journal this week? I'd like to finish a page I taped up and never got around to abstract painting, which you can see I'm doing now. I'd also like to experiment with the bleeding tissue paper in ways I've seen used in therapeutic art but haven't yet tried. Future arting, for which I'm also working on alternatives for those without bleeding tissue paper. I'm guessing that since you're here on the 52-week art journal journey, art is important to your identity, as it is to mine. If anyone had told me a year ago that I'd still be making art every day, I would have been glad and grateful and maybe at least a little bit proud of myself, but not shocked. A year ago, I was shoring up my reclamation of my creativity in the process of creating my first art journal. There's a link to images of that in the description too. It was part of the 100-day project. I would not have expected to be doing this 52-week art journal journey with you. But I have to share this with those of us who need it. Those of us who need to be reminded that taking time to make art is not a waste of time, that we're wired to create. And when we're not exercising our creativity in a way that's meaningful to us, we can't be as healthy as we could be. For me, part of this is art journaling. Making physical art is balancing for me, sketching, painting, but for years, I, for the most part, cut myself off from that. For years. There was always something more important. Making art felt like a waste of time when I needed to be more productive. To take time I felt I didn't have to make art seemed pointless, particularly when I was struggling with severe depression. I know actively making art wouldn't have cured me, but it absolutely would have helped. I know this because it did. Those rare times when I would get myself and my kids out the door to drawing class, I could so clearly feel the balancing effect of picking up a pencil and just drawing. Of course, the improved feelings, the increased clarity of thinking faded. I needed a steady diet of making, not just an occasional meal, a snack. Recovery, the treatment of mental illness, and maintenance of mental health requires treating all aspects of ourselves. We are not one-dimensional. Giving our minds their best chance to most accurately assess the reality of our current situations, beyond the hopelessness and despair of depression, the tension of anxiety, the distorted lens of past trauma, the pressure of external expectations, requires us to make healthy choices, to pursue health in all areas: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social, and creative. We are wired to create, made in the image of the Creator. a creator who gave us a world full of materials to work with, an intellect and ingenuity to put them together in different ways to make more materials, more useful things, more beauty. In the first chapter of her book, Let There Be Art, Rachel Marie Kang asserts that in exercising our creativity through all forms of art and making, we are joining God in pushing back the dark, pushing back the chaos in the world and in our own souls. The biblical story of humankind does not begin with the fall. It begins with let there be light. Light is a prerequisite for life. Without the light of the sun, there can be no physical life on earth. Without light, we cannot see. For me, taking the time to make art, as taking the time to write, helps me see myself and my circumstances more clearly. It restores life and parts of me that feel dead or dying or damaged beyond repair. Keeping myself from art denied, blinded, and starved an integral part of my identity. There's nothing healthy about that, no matter how many other things need to be accomplished. This week is an invitation to explore what art making means to you. Write about how taking the time to make art makes you feel. Write about what it's helping you learn about yourself. Write about other types of creativity, other creative activities that feed your soul. And make some art. Make today's journal page out of that understanding of the necessity of art to your health, or to bring yourself to a place to articulate it in words. Again, I say I am so grateful to have you here, to have the opportunity to encourage you to take the time to make art and establish a healthy habit of creative self-care. I almost died, due in part to a lack of art. There are as many ways to express creativity as there are individuals. Don't give up taking time to create and to express yourself in a way that is meaningful to you, that feeds your soul and brings order to your mind. It's likely you will find that you are more than you think you are. Let the chaff be burned away, the silver refined.